The story revolves around Parker Schnabel, a man who uncovers a massive 40-foot trommel that has been sitting idle for years, hiding over $400 million in gold. The machine was built in an era when mining was all about brute force, not finesse. It tore through dirt, separating gold like a beast, but it had a fatal flaw that turned into Parker's golden opportunity. Over the years, tiny bits of gold slipped through the cracks, piling up inside. No one thought to check or even consider the possibility that the machine itself had been hoarding gold the whole time. Parker and his team had to haul the beast to a place where they could begin fixing it, which meant heavy machinery, backbreaking labor, and a whole lot of problem solving. The restoration of the machine required repairing gears, screens, and the steel drum, but the team kept pushing because they knew what was at stake. As they dug into the dirt around the machine, things got even crazier. The ground itself was practically glowing with gold. This was not just any dirt. It was loaded, richer than anything Parker had ever seen. This site was not just a lucky break, it was a straight-up gold mine, literally. With stakes this high, Parker wasted no time setting up a processing plant right there. He made sure every single speck of gold got caught this time. And the value kept climbing, millions stacking up quicker than anyone could believe. But the trommel had more secrets. Digging into its history, Parker's team uncovered old records pointing to other connected mining sites. This was not just one lucky machine. It was part of a whole network, and there was a good chance more gold was sitting out there, just waiting to be found. Restoring the trommel was not just about making money. It was about bringing a piece of history back to life. Every dent, every rusty bolt told a story of the miners who once gambled everything for a shot at gold. Now, years later, Parker and his team were finishing what they had started, proving that their efforts had not been for nothing. When they finally fired up the trommel, it was like waking the beast. The massive drum spun smoothly, sorting through dirt with a kind of precision it never had before. Gold poured out, nugget after nugget, fine dust glittering like it had been waiting to see daylight again. The team stood there watching, knowing they had turned a forgotten wreck into a gold-spewing monster. By the time Parker was done, the numbers were staggering. They had pulled out gold worth hundreds of millions of dollars. This once-abandoned machine had turned into one of the most valuable tools in Parker's entire operation. However, keeping the machine running would be a constant battle. Years in the wilderness had taken their toll, and even with the best repairs, a machine like this needed constant care. Mining is a brutal and demanding job that requires a significant amount of physical and mental strain. A basic crew member can expect around $144, $42,000 for the season, with more experienced or skilled workers earning closer to $38, $4 per hour. However, the bigger the gold haul, the bigger the payday. The reality of mining is not just about digging up treasure. It is a never-ending battle with broken-down machines, freezing temperatures, and exhaustion that hits like a freight train. Crews live in mining camps that are loud, cramped, and far from comfortable. When they finally get a break, it is not much. 12 days on, 2 days off, rinse and repeat. And by the end of the season, bodies and minds are wrecked. Parker knows this gig is brutal, so he makes sure his crew at least has free housing and meals. However, no amount of free food makes up for the physical and mental toll of this job. The isolation, exhaustion, and pressure to perform, it is relentless. Not all crew members make money just from mining. Being on television comes with perks. Those with more screen time on the gold mining reality show can way of forging deep connections. Jokes, small victories, and shared hardships are the glue that holds the team together. Even with all the pressure, some crew members return season after season, chasing the next big gold haul, knowing exactly what they are signing up for. Even the meals play a crucial role in keeping the crew going. A good cook is one of the most important people in camp. Meals are not just about nutrition, they are about keeping morale up. When the food is good, the work feels a little easier. Parker Schnabel, a gold miner in the Yukon, is set to make a significant $14 million payday by investing in a new wash plant called rock sand. Unlike his previous system, Big Red, which has been his workhorse, rock sand is an untested, custom-built machine that promises bigger yields but comes with unknown dangers. The mining industry is unforgiving, with equipment failures, fluctuating gold prices, and short operating windows making every decision a potential turning point. Rock sand's cutting-edge design and efficiency make it a promising option for gold mining operations. Its larger processing capacity and modular design allow for easier repairs and upgrades, reducing downtime. However, its unproven track record casts a shadow of uncertainty over the operation. As the crew dismantles Big Red for winter, tension and excitement fill the air. The team prepares for the test run, knowing that once Big Red stops, there's no turning back. The team prepares for the test run, ensuring a steady flow of water to flush away dirt and reveal the gold hidden beneath. However, the moment of truth comes when the shaker deck fails, and the team braces for the test run. A faint rattle and vibration echoes across the claim, causing the team to question whether it's just a minor glitch or a disaster in the making. In this text, the team is faced with a near catastrophe when their new wash plant, Rock Sand, fails to deliver the promised gold. The team finds that the power is not reaching the system, and the wash plant runs on dangerously high voltage. After fixing the power issue, they load pay dirt through the system, and the shaker deck vibrates aggressively. However, a jet of water sprays violently from the pre-wash section, drenching the ground. The team finds the source of the problem as a faulty hose clamp, and another issue is the short spray bar hose, causing water to flow inefficiently. The team decides to temporarily shut off the spray bar to prevent further leaks and reinforce the hose clamp. The wash plant is running smoothly, but the real test is whether Rock Sand can catch more gold than Big Red. The team names the new machine Rock Sand, which plays on the plant's purpose of breaking down rock and washing out the gold-rich sand. Despite the name, the team is not satisfied with the machine's performance. They must decide whether Rock Sand can outshine Big Red and push them towards their ambitious goal of catching 7,000 ounces of gold. The team must decide whether Rock Sand can outperform Big Red and if it will push them towards their goal. Parker, a gold mining expert, is determined to make the most of his new wash plant, Rock Sand, to ensure his operation's success. After weeks of hard work and mechanical issues, the team has managed to pull out a significant amount of gold from the ground. The last contribution was from Big Red, Parker's old workhorse, which had been reliable for years. However, the team's new wash plant has only delivered a quarter of what Big Red could have, causing frustration and doubt among the team. The team is self-funded, and the financial risk of building, transporting, and installing the wash plant is significant. Gold prices fluctuate constantly, and even a successful season might not be enough to cover expenses if the market takes a downturn. The team is now facing the challenge of reaching their goal of 7,000 ounces, which would mean a staggering $14 million in gold. The biggest uncertainty is Rock Sand's performance, as it has already shown weaknesses and is nowhere near matching Big Red's efficiency. With the Yukon's harsh winter approaching, time is their biggest enemy, and if they don't hit their goal before winter shuts them down, all the risk, effort, and money poured into Rock Sand will have been for nothing. Paxton is determined to squeeze every last ounce out of Rock Sand, fine-tune its performance, and push it to its absolute limit. The next few weeks will decide everything, whether it's the new wash plant that will be the key to Parker's biggest gold haul yet, or the mistake that costs him everything.
Tolls had shown promise, but as the crew dug deeper, the gold values disappeared like smoke in the Klondike wind. Water management, once Parker's specialty, became his operation's worst nightmare. The sophisticated systems that had set industry standards were now failing against unprecedented challenges. Springs nobody knew existed turned cuts into lakes overnight, drowning equipment and washing away precious time and money. The crew worked around the clock, fighting a losing battle against nature's fury. The equipment breakdowns hit next, like dominoes falling in a perfectly orchestrated disaster. Machines that had been pushed to their limits finally started giving up, one after another. The harmony of heavy machinery working in perfect sync was replaced by the discord of frustrated voices over crackling radios. The gold market's volatility struck another blow to Parker's operation. Fuel costs were soaring higher than excavator buckets, while gold prices swung wildly, making every operational decision a high-stakes gamble. The comfortable margins that had allowed for aggressive mining strategies were disappearing faster than summer in the Yukon. Parker found himself doing math he'd never had to consider before, calculating the cost of every yard of dirt moved, every hour of machine time, every drop of fuel burned. The days of focusing purely on production were over. Environmental regulations in the Canadian mining industry were tightening, requiring more paperwork, oversight, and restrictions on mining operations. Cuts that would have been approved without question in previous seasons now faced lengthy reviews and costly modifications. Water management plans needed complete overhauls to meet stricter standards. The ground might hold gold, but getting to it was becoming a different kind of challenge. The final straw came when a promising cut proved to be a costly bust. For the first time since those early days at Big Nugget, doubt crept into Parker's voice during cleanup. The industry took notice, and with his empire showing cracks and gold totals falling faster than Yukon Mercury, Parker's next challenge would not just test his mining skills, it would threaten everything he'd built. The decline hit Parker's operation like an avalanche, sudden, devastating, and impossible to stop once it started moving. Production numbers that once broke records were now breaking spirits, with gold totals dropping faster than thermometers in a Yukon winter. Wash plants that once thundered with constant activity now sat silent more often than they ran, victims of both mechanical failure and increasingly barren ground. Inside sources revealed that even Parker's most reliable cuts were yielding less than half their expected values. Confidential documents and crew testimonies exposed the true extent of the operation's struggles. Equipment that should have been replaced seasons ago was being held together with emergency repairs and desperate workarounds. The sophisticated water management systems, once the envy of every operation in the Klondike, were failing systematically. Pumps struggled against rising groundwater, while repair costs soared higher than excavator booms. Industry insiders reported that Parker's legendary determination had turned into something else, a stubborn refusal to acknowledge that his aggressive mining style might be part of the problem. Parker Schnabel's mining empire, once a powerful force in the Klondike gold industry, has been facing a crisis due to environmental compliance reports and regulatory documentation. Multiple violations have been documented across Parker's claims, with fines mounting faster than gold in a sluice box. Water management issues that had once been minor inconveniences were now attracting serious regulatory scrutiny. The young mine boss discovered that some problems can't be solved by simply throwing more horsepower at them. Each new regulation seemed designed to target the aggressive mining style that had built his reputation, forcing costly adjustments that further strained the operation's resources. Gold recovery data revealed a steady decline in both quantity and quality of recovered gold. Pay streaks that should have been reliable were proving inconsistent, while promising ground turned out to be little more than fool's gold. Industry experts pointed to Parker's rush to process maximum yardage as a potential culprit, suggesting that crucial testing and ground preparation steps were being skipped in the race to maintain production numbers. The young mine boss, who once seemed to have an almost supernatural ability to read ground, was now making rookie mistakes, choosing quantity over quality in a desperate bid to keep his empire afloat. By the end of the season, the signs of systematic failure were impossible to ignore. Equipment sat idle, covered in a layer of Klondike dust that grew thicker by the day. Drone footage revealed abandoned cuts across multiple claims, each one a testament to miscalculations and overambitious planning. The empire that Parker had built through sheer determination and grit was crumbling faster than thawing permafrost. Industry veterans who had watched his meteoric rise now shook their heads at what appeared to be an equally spectacular fall.